I thought we had an interlude, but it's not a problem. That's okay. I'll provide us with a musical interlude. Because some years ago I sang with a choir, the Occidental Community Choir, and that choir has a number of songwriters in it. So we would sing original pieces. One of the pieces I remember and that always comes to mind this time of year is by a woman named Rita Rue, and it was called Waiting for Spring. And the chorus went like this. I am waiting and 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 waiting, waiting for spring. You can all sing it with me. I am waiting and 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 waiting, waiting for spring. So I tell you, it comes back to me every time. And the verses were actually about looking through the seed catalog to figure out what the garden would be like. And of course, by now, all of you true gardeners have already done that part, right? So we're kind of in a little bit of a limbo here in February, aren't we? This is that time of year, you know, where we start to look at that or feel that sense of anticipation for whatever may come and be better in a physical or even a metaphorical spring. Now, some of you are probably winter people who embrace long nights in the chill air and the activities and hobbies that it invites. And that may be you, but it's not me. I am not a winter person particularly. I'm not the person, I'm the person who at home is looking for breaks in the rain to bundle up and go outside, just to get out of the house. And anytime the sun is out, I remind myself to go take a walk and soak some of it up. I'm annoyed by feeling sleepy on dark afternoons. And I get a little blue when I don't see the sun for a couple of days. But in February, we start to get glimpses that some change is on its way, right? This is when I start to notice that the days are really getting longer, that there's more light into the evening, which is great. And early flowers start to bloom here, like this Daphne that my sister brought me this weekend from her garden. And if you haven't come up and smelled the Daphne, I invite you all to after the service. It's scrumptious. And also the daffodil next to it that came from Maggie's garden. Her first one she brought to us. So be grateful for that.
It has wonderful fragrance too.
Yes, yes. We might have to separate them so people can smell both, because that Daphne is really overwhelming. And of course, in the middle of February, we plunk down Valentine's Day with all the hearts and the romance and the love and all of that. So that for many of us, not for everyone, but kind of lifts the spirits. At least all of the pink and red around is bright. Yet I also feel that continued sense of waiting for warmer weather and longer days. So even in my impatience, I know that the cycles of nature, annual and diurnal and circadian, are necessary for our well-being. All of life needs rest. Our bodies need rest for health and for rejuvenation. And moreover, I would argue that when we slow down, when we slip off our burdens for a moment, then we are best able to recognize what it is that we are called to do in this world. We are best able to listen to our hearts and to focus our sense of, focus where our desire leads us to put our energy and our love. In our lives, there are so many demands for our attention, aren't there? our basic needs for health and well-being, our jobs, or managing our financial resources, tending our relationships of love and friendship, caring for loved ones as parents or caregivers. And there are so many needs in the larger world that call to us. You know, some of them we really feel compelled to address. Hopefully the things that we commit to give us something in return, right? Physical sustenance, a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, of belonging and love. Yet the demands are real, and exhaustion is sometimes real. Our society gives us strong messages, too, that we are meant to handle our burdens alone. But that needn't be how it works. And in fact, that can't be how it works. We humans truly are communal animals. And Reverend Anna Bladel writes, "We remember who we are when we move with and for each other. Like a murmuration of starlings or a wisdom of owls," she writes, "a conspiration of humans. We need each other urgently." Yet the messages that we get so often are less of cooperation and more often of competition for scarce resources. If you get more, I get less. Or if I don't work hard every minute, I'll fall behind. Exhaustion is expected and sometimes even celebrated in this culture. So what are the alternatives? Cole Arthur Riley writes, in community, we can push back on the expectation that we exhaust ourselves. I love that. In community, even while there is much work to do, we can honor everyone's labor and right to rest. By pitching in to the collective work in all the ways we can, trusting that others will do the same, and resting when needed, without judgment. One thing that makes Unitarian Universalist congregational life so attractive, so life-giving, I would argue, is that it is where we get to practice living our principles, our values, and our covenant with one another. With these tools, a passion for love or for equity and justice, generosity, independence, with love at the center, we can create a community that is nurturing and sustaining, that strengthens our spiritual lives and supports each other's well-being. And the work that we do here with each other to live our values can be a model for the work we do in the larger world, for justice, for peace, for our families and our communities. In religious community, we get to demonstrate that, like a V formation of flying geese, our conspiration of humans can travel far and accomplish much while conserving the energies of individuals and taking turns leading and serving so others can rest and serve in other ways. Here, we can do what Adrienne Marie Brown describes as practicing the world we want to live in with such rigor that we become an irresistible invitation to a liberated future. An irresistible invitation to a liberated future. Doesn't that sound wonderful? And here, rigor means not exhaustive, but thorough or throughout in every part of religious life. It means taking time to start every meeting to talk about what's going on for each of us, to start with the human connection. It means following a just democratic process with good policies and procedures so that everyone feels heard. It means reflecting periodically on how the congregation can better carry out its mission. It means acknowledging our needs as fully human beings, including our needs for rest and rejuvenation. It's an essential religious tenet, actually. And you know, both the Hebrew and the Christian Bibles are full of examples that link salvation and rest. Riley notes that even Jesus walked away from the demands of the masses sometimes to rest and to pray. And Psalm 23, you know, the one that begins, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." It says, "He makes me lie down." He makes me lie down. Riley writes, "What a peculiar answer to the valley of the shadow of death. You might expect God's response to have the people rise up and empower them to fight. But God's answer is unapologetic care for the body, the deepest yet most neglected of needs. Moments of rest allow us to reconnect and listen to body, mind, heart, spirit. These moments don't have to take long, actually. Recently, I found this short practice in a book called Clarity and Calm for Busy People. It's a tiny book. I should have brought it in. It's about this big and about this thick. And, and it was on my shelf, and I don't even know how it got there. But I was glad to find it. In it, there was a short practice by a Buddhist monk, Ajahn Susito. And I find that it is helpful. And if you're willing, I'd like to try to take you through a part of this practice. So I invite you to sit up in your chair, spine elongate, but with its natural curve. Be comfortable, so that your weight is resting on your hips and seat, not on your belly, not forward. Relax your arms and lay your hands gently in your lap, with your elbows maybe slightly away from your body so that you feel kind of spacious. Relax your shoulders as if you're slipping off a coat. Relax your jaw. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And if you need to, breathe or wiggle just a bit to get the fidget out of your system. Now settle in your chair, light and balanced. Now we'll widen our awareness of the body. Do this by starting where you feel most located in your body right now. Behind your eyes, maybe, your face, your chest, wherever it is. And then spread your attention to take in more of your body. Not focusing on any one place, but widening to take it all in. If you can, from the top of your head, clear to your feet. If you notice tension somewhere in your body, see if you can widen your attention to include the space around the tense place. And imagine your breathing flowing into this area. Now let's take a moment to connect with our heart by asking this question: how are things right now? When something occurs to you, rather than focusing on details, let yourself take it in with a general sense through feelings or impulses or impressions. Maybe it's high pressure, buzzing, going with the flow. See if you can accept the feeling you name without judgment, with generosity and spaciousness, as if it's something told to you by a friend. Then you might ask, what helps me to be with this? And see what comes up. No need to push for an answer. You may or may not get thoughts, but you may get a heart sense that makes you feel more expanded, a little steadier. What helps me to be with this? And let's take one last moment to appreciate our bodies, our hearts, and our minds. And bring your presence, your attention back into the room. So there's a short rest that you can do anytime, just to be aware of your body and your feelings or impressions of what's going on, and be gentle with yourself. And of course, longer breaks are essential too, though it sometimes feels even risky to allow ourselves to have them. Cole Arthur Riley writes, "It is the specter of scarcity that withholds the rest we have been made for. The paradox being that what feels so much like risk is actually the means of restoration. We sleep and we regenerate. And of course, we sleep that we might dream. A balm made of mystery, and it has been kept from so many of us." Friends, dreaming is crucial. When we are resting, truly resting, not fidgeting with a cell phone or sitting down to make a to-do list. Yeah, I'll rest, I'll make a to-do list. Wait, we create the space that allows for ideas to arise, to feel more peaceful in our approach to life. True story. This morning, or rather last night, I was feeling like maybe something was missing from this sermon, but I couldn't quite place it, and I thought, okay, well, it's fine. It'll be fine. Maggie's doing a great reflection, so it'll be fine. And it was on my drive this morning when I was relaxed and I'm driving through this beautiful countryside that I got it. I'm like, oh, yeah. I need to really bring out that idea that it's about listening to the call for love. It's about listening so that we can focus our energies and do what we are truly called to do. And here we are. We need time to dream together, too, to hold our problems and concerns lightly and allow them to sort out gently. And we need not push to get answers. Sometimes, just as a seed needs to wait for the right conditions to start to grow, a great idea needs to wait for the right time to come. Sometimes when we take care of the small tasks at hand, keeping up with the weeding perhaps, or even taking a nap, we wait for the time is right for the next spurt or leap forward. We prepare ourselves to get that message. I believe that we can only truly address the world's deep needs if we take the time to listen deeply, to notice where love is calling us, and to prepare ourselves to receive. Only through resting sometimes do we have the resources and rejuvenation and commitment we need to stay in the struggle. Let us commit to listening for love's call. Let us commit to work for the just, equitable, generous world we envision by creating it here, now. May it be so. Amen. And now will you please rise in body or spirit to sing number 1029 in the Teal hymnal, Love Knocks and Waits for Us to Hear.